just climbed a hill in this stockpile fescue that is over a foot tall. And I got too many clothes on. I got Carhartts and my boots and several coats and a scarf. It's cold out here, but the sun's out. The wind's blowing a little bit. I bet it's warmed up 5 degrees in the last 20 minutes. And I'm here with the bull mob. We got 41 head in here, South Pole bulls. And you can see what they were on yesterday. You can see the line. I haven't pulled the post yet. I stopped reeling when I got to right there. There's a couple over there still playing around that. Oh, it's a mineral feeder I just pulled in there. I took the mineral feeder out for 2 days. After that rain, it was wet, and I didn't want them to pug up the area around the mineral feeder. So I just took it out. They don't need, they can go without mineral for a couple of days. It's not gonna hurt them. But you can see what the bulls are doing. They're exposing the brush and here, and this is something that, this is Elise farm. This is Doug and Joanne's farm. And we've made a promise to them that we were gonna control this brush. We're not gonna let it take the farm. This is a really bad one right here. That's the autumn olive. And there's parts of this farm here behind us that we haven't grazed yet. There must be 200 of them, all in, maybe an acre. They're just lousy. And so you can brush hog those until your brush hog wheels fall off your brush hog. You're not gonna kill them. The only way to get rid of them is you gotta cut them with a chainsaw or loppers. Hand loppers. That one's almost too big for loppers. I'll use that little battery chainsaw. That's a ticket, man. That little battery electric chainsaw. I love that thing. It's got a 10-inch bar on it. It's made by steel. It'll make short work of that. And then I paint it with crossbow and diesel fuel. 1 quart of crossbow to 5 gallons of diesel. And then this little guy here is our honey locust. They're all over. Again, you can brush hog it, but you're not gonna kill it. So cut it and paint it and be done with it. You don't have to mess with it anymore. Not saying there won't be some more the next year, but it's not gonna be that one. That one's gonna be done. But you can see right here in this one area, I've got 1, 2 over there, 3 in the distance. There's another one, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how they start out, little guys. There's 7 of those darn autumn olives here within a 20-foot circle. And that's what they do. They just, once they start, they just colonize and they take the whole area. And pretty soon, all you've got is brush. You don't have any grass, you just have brush. And which is good if you want to run goats, be good goat habitat, but we're not running any goats right here. Boy, look at these Minervias. Isn't that a beaut? I mean, look at my finger. It's only that tall. If they're stacking up 3 to 4 inches, folks, you've got an issue. Your cows or bulls are probably losing weight. They're not getting enough protein or energy from the grass. But you can see fescue. That's what's so beautiful about fescue is there's green down in there. Not a lot, but there's some green. And that's what those bulls are going after today. Look at them. No hay. February 13th. And they're just really good condition. The hair coats on them shining like you took a curry comb and combed them up ready for a show. I mean, look at them. That's what your cattle should look like. Most cattle this time of year don't look like that. They don't. That's just a fine looking animal. There's a bunch of fine looking animals. There's another one. Well, there's a whole lot of fine ones in here. But anyway, they're doing it on forage. That's what's so darned important. Forage alone. Oh, look at that cow. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is a beaut. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 ridges. Okay. It's got the pond in the middle. Okay. If I take my foot and open that puppy up, it's half froze. It's got really good color and consistency, and it doesn't stink. Your manure piles should not smell. It's just processed grass. You couldn't pay me to do that to a manure pad if it had come out of a cow eating grain, because it'd stink. It stinks. But I had a lady comment on one of our bull videos, and she was concerned about, I guess they had a bull that was growling, you know, just, and we're talking about aggressive animals. And her question was, you know, if a bull is growling at you, is that signs of an aggressive animal? In other words, something you should be concerned with, is hurting you or your kids or a stranger if they walk in the paddock. And my response to that question was, it depends what the animal's doing in concert with the growling. If they're just walking around growling being a bull, that's why I started this video. Unfortunately, I missed the growling. They just stopped and they went onto the paddock. But there was 3 or 4 of them here just growling like lions. I didn't get it. As soon as they hit that grass, they just went to eating. They forgot about growling. So growling behavior on a bull, is it a detriment? In other words, can that animal hurt you? Only if they're pawing at the ground, shaking their head and advancing towards you in a menacing way. And the whole time they're swaying their head back and forth, they're staring right at you, pawing the ground, and they're bellowing. And one other thing, if they're snotty, they're blowing their nose and there's snot coming out of their nose, and their tongue's hanging out, and they're pawing the ground and they're coming towards you, that's an animal you need to get rid of. That animal's gonna hurt somebody. Now watch this animal when I walk up to him. See, he gives. Your animals, that's the other thing. When you walk toward a bull, he needs to yield to you. He better move off. If he walks towards you, that's an animal you better get rid of, because he's gonna hurt you. He is not gonna yield. One of them times you walk in there, he's gonna throw you about 15 feet in the air. And when you hit the ground, he's gonna have his chest focused on his head, and he's gonna be pushing you across the top of the ground, and you're gonna be dead. Drive your ribs right into your lungs. Folks, there's a lot of people killed every year by nasty bulls they shouldn't have had. And people say, oh, they're just being a bull. No, they're not. That's a wild animal that needs to be taken out and made into hamburgers. It needs to be put into hamburger. They don't need to be roaming around out here on the country hurting people. If anybody's been to the doctor, which I haven't, knock on wood, for a good while, but when you do go, it's expensive. It's an expensive visit. And you can lose your farm. If your animals get you down and hurt you, you're out of the grazing business. Period. You're done. So don't tolerate any animal that comes after you. I used to have to tolerate them. When we were custom grazing, we had some pretty nasty animals. I mean, they were nasty. If you got out of your truck, they'd come after you. Yeah, so I have a very short fuse for something like that. I'm just not gonna put up with it. One other thing, walking up to, when do they start exhibiting this rank behavior? They can start doing it at about the 3 to 4 months old. When you walk into your herd and you've got a bull calf over there and he's just staring at you, and you walk toward him and he doesn't walk off. Matter of fact, he might take his head and kind of rock it side to side and kind of just stand his ground and look at you. I had one do that. Oh, it's been close to 20 years ago. And I thought, he was a good looking young bull. I'm like, well, he's just playing. He's just playing. And at about the 5-month level, I walked up to him. He did not yield to me at all. Matter of fact, he kind of walked toward me and he kind of shook his head back and forth a little bit. He didn't paw the ground, he didn't bellow, but he just shook his head at me. And I'm like, dude, you keep that crap up, you're gonna lose your nuts. And meaning I was gonna steer him, make a steer out of him. And sure enough, he got up to that 7-8 month, and he was even worse. He would come at you. He never tried to charge, but he'd shake his head at you and walk right up to you. If you walked toward him, he did not yield. He would actually come to you and like, no, I'm not yielding to you. You're a mere human, and I'm a bull. So we got him up. I clamped him. I used the cow crate band, or I banded him, took his nuts off. I thought, well, that'll calm him down. Well, it took him down a notch. But that darn steer, as a darn steer, he would still he wouldn't yield. He wouldn't come after you, but he just kind of shook his head and like, no, I'm not gonna move. You're gonna move. And so that was a steer that I just went ahead and took to sell. I just sold him. I wasn't gonna mess with him. At that time, he was probably 12 months, and you could just tell he had an attitude, and I don't know what it was, but I sold him and his mom. And took care of that problem. So yeah, animals that come after you, I understand, people say, but Greg, the cow needs to protect his calf. And a cow that comes after you while you're trying to tag the calf, and she's mauling you on the ground and chasing you around the paddock, if you want to put up with that, that's your decision. I am not going to put up with that. A cow has the right to stand there and be concerned and moo and circle around me, mooing the whole time, moo, moo, while I'm tagging the calf. But she puts her head down, knocks me on the ground, and continues to come after me. She is gone. She's gone. That's my management. Now, you can set your rules however you want, but I am not going to have an animal that's going to take me out. Not going to have it. I don't care if it's the best cow in the herd. She is gone. And here's the kicker, folks. You keep a bull calf out of her. She's your best cow in the herd. She's going to give you a super nice bull calf. And he's that way. He kind of shakes his head and got a bad temperament. Well, guess what? You just put him and saved him, and now he's going to breed all your cows? Ho, 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 ho. Now you've just extrapolated a problem big time. Now your whole calf crop's nasty. The fruit doesn't drop far from the tree. Just remember that. So I'm going to get it out of here. I just wanted to cover that because I get in questions about what makes an animal, not safe to be around. So I think I covered that pretty well. And everyone have a great day. I know I'm going to, just watching these bulls eat this winter stockpile. And here in the middle of February, it's a wonderful thing. Have a good one, and we'll see you all down the road. Hit that subscribe button on the way out if you would. Thank you.